Hi, my name's Karen Thomas. I head up Coastal Partnership East. We're delivering coastal management along the Norfolk and Suffolk coast. So we have one of the fastest eroding coasts in northwest Europe. And as a result of that, we have significant challenges from sea level rise and climate change and the impacts that has on our coastal communities, businesses and environments. In order to create a more resilient coast, we need to look at both traditional flood defence options, but also to start thinking about more innovative solutions so that we can transition to a more resilient coast for the future. So because we have soft eroding coasts and low-lying areas, the risk to people and property is quite high here. And what we find is in a number of locations, people facing high levels of erosion and flood risk have quite limited options available to them. The Resilient Coast project is designed to start to look at innovative ways that we can do things differently on this coast to support people through that transition. Some of the things that we're going to be looking at, for example, are whether or not we can create adaptation funds, working with large infrastructure providers and private businesses to create a pool of money that we can then use for adaptation and resilience. We're also going to be looking at nature-based solutions and how we can work with nature to support the climate change impacts that we're going to face. Using national information from the National Erosion Risk Mapping Service and from our shoreline management plans, we'll be creating spatial mapping tools so that we'll be able to see what's at risk and to what extent, and working with local planners to see what planning policy we might need to support those changes so that our coast isn't blighted, but actually the local economy and environment can thrive. Alongside traditional solutions, we'll also be looking at how we can use rock, concrete and also completely new ways of managing and defending areas of the coast where it's appropriate to do so. So in some locations we may want to buy time and we might want to have more temporary structures that we can use to hold the coast while we work with communities to do something different. In other locations we might need to remove defences because they've become unsafe and also to allow cliffs and dunes to erode to provide a more natural frontage. And so our engineering and operations teams will be working on some of those new innovative ideas with people from the construction industry, but also from the design industry as well. As we move through the project, there will be huge amounts of learning, which we are going to be sharing with our national colleagues at the Environment Agency and our wider coastal networks. We really hope that if there are barriers to doing work that we need to do to adapt to sea level rise and climate change, that we'll be able to share this information and make those changes nationally, regionally and locally to support the resilient coastal work we need to do. So whether you live and work on our coast, or you are a practitioner with skills you can offer us, or a partner with interests in our area that might be at erosion or flood risk, we really welcome you joining us in the Resilient Coast projects. Please do get in touch.